104.5 zone coming up from 4 until 5. Scott Ramsey's coming in studio to discuss polls, BCS, playoffs, all that. It's going to be an interesting discussion. Clay Travis, the notorious BGID, back in effect in Nashville in studio. What's up?
I missed you guys, man. I'm more tired now than I was before I went on the vacation. The 4-year-old and the 1-year-old, they'll do it to you, man. It's I'm glad to be back at work so I can start to rest again.
That's what I'm saying. You never realize how much you love work until you go on vacation with a bunch of kids.
With young kids.
Job is tough, man.
Yeah. Not as tough as Bobby Petrino's week. It was a lot of fun, but, of course, the news breaks that Bobby Petrino, I still don't know. I've been writing about this at Outkick the Coverage all week, paying attention to it. I still don't know that he said anything honest about this whole process. Did you see the report where they said, first of all, he claimed that the sun was in his eyes, and then he claimed that it was like the wind gust. Yeah. They actually went back and broke down the fact that there's no way the sun could be in his eyes at that time of day on that road. It's impossible.
Yeah.
And also there were no wind gusts recorded in the county that day. So, and the gentle wind was coming from his backside, interestingly enough, the whole time. So, the more and more I think about this, the more and more convinced I start to get that I don't even know that he even had a motorcycle accident because the girl's not hurt. Is she the female unbreakable? Think about that. It doesn't make any sense physically that the girl who would be hanging on to the back of the motorcycle.
I've always wondered that.
How would she
How is she not hurt?
Unscathed from a motorcycle accident?
So what do you think happened, conspiracy theory?
My conspiracy theory is that the fiancé beat the crap out of Bobby Petrino, maybe came in and caught them together. Petrino hopped on the motorcycle. He chased him, eventually cut him off on the road, and then beat the crap out of him on the side of the road, and they said that it was a motorcycle accident. Because the fiancé is not employed now either.
No, that's true.
So that would be my... If you want a theory, I just don't understand. I've never really ridden on a motorcycle because I always just thought it was too dangerous. I have no interest in doing it. But if you wreck at 40 miles an hour, how does Bobby Petrino break his neck and 5 ribs and the girl doesn't even have to go to the hospital? Usually
and didn't have a scratch
on her.
A scratch. That's the
weird.
key. The A scratch. Now, he didn't have on a helmet probably because she had on a helmet, had his helmet on.
That could have happened.
But, yeah.
And the whole thing, I just think there's so much lies that are associated with this. I think the police tried to cover up for him. I think we've just got...
40's not that fast, though, considering on a motorcycle, is it?
Oh, just think about if you tried to step out of a moving car at 40 miles an hour. There's no way that you would emerge on the side of a road. There's no way that you'd emerge unscathed.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking about I was thinking about Starsky and Hutch. She jumped off and rolled or something.
She's obviously an athlete. But the funniest thing that got tweeted to me was that for everybody who watched the M. Night Shyamalan movie Unbreakable with Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson, Mr. Glass, and then Bruce Willis's character, spoiler alert, it's been a decade now, but you never know, cannot be hurt. He's like a superhero. So is she just indestructible like that?
I just don't know about going... Why would she get on the back of the motorcycle if he caught them?
Oh, I'm wondering if she was in a truck with the guy.
She wasn't really on the
motorcycle. And
No, I'm saying, but why would he then go... Oh, so you say she was never on the motorcycle?
This is some out there speculation.
Oh, I don't even think it's out there. If you try to string together...
it makes sense. It's plausible.
Why would they fire the fiancé? Unless they just went ahead and bought him off and he's like, I'm out of here already, which they're going to have to do sooner or later. Why would he be unemployed already?
That hadn't come out that he was unemployed.
He's no longer on the website.
Yeah,
they pulled his name.
I saw Bomani Jones tweet that yesterday.
My Twitter didn't work.
I just don't look. I think that lots of times we get lied to. Bobby Petrino, if he's going to lie about the sun being in his eyes, he's going to lie about a gust of wind. And the guy is just a complete and utter cheat and liar. I don't believe he's told us anything truthful so far.
What about this part of Bobby Petrino's statement yesterday where he says there was a lot of information shared given the decision that has been made? This is not the place to debate just view of what happened. He's still not taking responsibility.
His view of what happened is what happened.
What happened as you breaking it all down.
Which is why it happened like you're saying.
Oh, which what I'm saying. In which case you're just we got to fire the guy. The other thing is, what is the $20K for? I tweeted this to Brent last night.
I have no idea.
Is it fake boobs? It's got to be something embarrassing.
Or you texted it to me.
Yeah, I asked.
I said hush money.
I asked how much an abortion costs. Thankfully, I don't know because I was like, did he pull a Patino?
But didn't Rick Pitino pay $5,000?
Several thousand.
Yeah.
And maybe you have to pay a lot more, in order to get your name not included in the record, or I don't know.
Some people have sent us messages suggesting that Bobby Petrino tried to get her more money when she got the job, and that Arkansas said no, so he cut her a check.
surely.
Right, but did he cut a check from the university?
No, it's
nice and clean.
It's his own personal
It's his
money?
own personal
So
money.
then why does the AD bring that up in the press conference?
That's because it has to be for something improper is what I'm getting at. If he's going to say he cut her a check for $20,000, it has to be $20,000 for something like the fake boobs is what I immediately. This is where my mind went. What does a guy pay his mistress? Fake boobs or abortion? To me, I mean, what else is he giving her money for?
Fake boobs before abortion.
No, I thought abortion first. Then I asked you how much they cost, and you were like, "I don't think it costs $20,000." I'm like, "Well,
they cost like $300 in Fast Times at Ridgemont High."
That's what you said. You cited a 1980s popular movie as your abortion research. I remember.
A buddy of mine does them. I think I would say around 10.
Okay, so
10?
Yeah.
So I mean,
what if he paid for that and then gave her extra to be quiet?
All I know is that he paid, thousands of dollars. I mean, it has to be something. It has to be something improper. I think. I mean, I think he didn't give her $20,000 for business school tuition. Like, I mean, it's not like he gave her $20,000 for
hot gardening for volleyball.
Yeah, gardening or something.
She was going to break it off from him, and he said, "Okay, well, I'll give you $20,000. Just don't ever bring this up again."
And I'll get you a job.
Yeah, because he kept talking about previous relationships.
That's what I came on with you guys, because the previous relationship is a lie. If I said,
he tried to.
if I just blew up in here one day and I walked out, my radio show would be my previous job, but it could have ended 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And the language from the get-go was crap. I mean, it was very Clintonian. The guy is a cheat and he's a liar, but he wins football games.
I like that.
Yeah. Depends on what the meaning of the word is, it is.
Yeah. David on his cell. Hey, David, what's going on?
It is what it is.
Hey, what's up, man?
Nothing.
Hey, first thing, Clay, you still got the socks?
Do I still have the what?
Oh, the socks from Kroger.
Oh, yeah. Pink socks. I still got them.
Yeah, this is David. I bought you the socks.
Oh, yeah. I appreciate that.
Pink socks.
No problem,
that was a cold day. It was the only cold day in winter this year.
It snowed that day.
Yeah, it snowed.
Anyway, I'm also a motorcycle rider. Man, you're onto something. 40 miles an hour, you are dead. 40 is rough.
Okay, so what?
If you're going off the road.
You're a motorcycle rider, so I've never ridden on a motorcycle, but it doesn't pass the smell test to me that one guy driving the motorcycle can be as injured as Bobby Petrino was. If you saw the pictures, I mean, literally he broke one of his vertebrae in his neck. He has multiple ribs that are broken, and his face looks like he skidded along the side of a road. Mm-hmm. How could a girl who's riding with him have absolutely no injuries and not even need to go to the hospital if they were on the motorcycle and it crashed at the exact same time? I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
Put it this way, man. They say, and I've never been in the NFL, ask Dwayne, but they say that at every snap of a ball, linemen experience a 35-mile-an-hour head-on crash. Now, if you take a defensive lineman from the Titans and have him wipe out Petrino and his girlfriend, who's going to walk away without a scratch?
I mean, you're with me, right? I mean, theoretically, the guy who weighs more weight and everything else would be, I mean, it seems to me that the bike would offer more protection to the driver than it would to the passenger. The passenger is going to be thrown off.
I think it would be
further.
pretty easy.
Man, it doesn't. I've had to get off, and a lot less by the time I got slowed down enough, but I've had to get off at a lot less than 40 miles an hour. I was probably running maybe 20 when I started endoing through the ditch, and I spent the next 6 months waiting for it to go back to work.
Right.
And she didn't have a scratch.
Not a scratch, is what we were told.
Not happening.
Well, I mean, no one's seen her.
Well, no, the police report said, the officer said she was standing on the side of the road.
Okay.
She looked fine. You know,
I think you may be onto him because the guy, her fiance, is no longer employed. Maybe there was
It's quick, right? I mean,
because why would they do that when he could maybe have a claim too, right?
Oh, certainly. I mean, if I was him, I would insist that I be
somebody
paid.
driving by call 911?
Yeah, but they could have driven by after the incident happened, and he could have left her, and she could have been like, stop. He's just beating the crap out of Petrino.
I mean, I'm not too far not to believe it, though.
Look, it makes more sense to me than this girl is on the back of a motorcycle, and they crash, and she has 0 accident injuries, and they immediately try to cover it up. I mean, the motorcycle doesn't look that bad either. I mean, they had pictures of it. I mean, it doesn't look
because
like...
I saw the motorcycle. I was like, oh, he's not going to be that bad. And I saw him.
Yeah. I mean, he looks...
No, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's not like the motorcycle was totaled, is what I'm getting at.
John in Brentwood. Hey, John.
Yeah, I also want to speak to Clay's point. I've done my fair share of motorcycle crashing on the street, and 40 miles an hour will literally rip denim right off of you. There's no way this girl could take a crash on a motorcycle at 40 miles an hour. And even if she goes into the grass, best case scenario, there's no way she walks away with it without injury. So take two things from that. Number one, there's major fishiness going on here. But number two, with the weather changing, all you people out there buying new motorcycles, dress for the crash.
If you have to say to me, dress for the crash, I'm not doing it.
I'm out.
I'm like, how about I just don't crash?
Or I'm going to get in a really big SUV or something.
That's the advice I take.
Rolling no motorcycle.
I got a convertible before. I can get in a convertible and feel the wind in my hair. That's far. That's just
a mountain bike.
I mean, think about it there. I mean, I just don't buy anything. So I guess what I'm saying is this entire story, as it's continued to trickle out, I don't believe anything that Bobby Petrino has said. Everything that he has said has been proven to be a lie so far. Why would we believe that they had an accident on a motorcycle? It would be the first honest thing that he said about the whole process.
Tell 104.5 The Zone. Brent Doherty, Clay Bishop, Clay Travis with you. We're here till 6 o'clock. Preds, Red Wings, game 1 tonight at 7 at Bridgestone Arena. They have golded the building out. We put out a picture. We retweeted a picture. You go, you're getting a gold playoff shirt. It's going to be a great
You're not getting a towel?
atmosphere.
Thank God.
No towels? There will be towels.
Bobby Petrino could have used a towel.
What was he needing the towel?
Don't do that.
He needs to cover himself up. These revelations on Bobby Petrino.
Before you get into that, let me say our thanks to Scott Ramsey.
He was awesome.
More information about the Nashville Sports Council, NashvilleSports.com. Get involved. Also coming up tomorrow, Margaret Lippman from Lippman Brothers. We've got Happen Harry's T-shirts, and we've been holding them, trying to figure out a way to give them out. We will have more information about that tomorrow. Also, Deshaun Jackson, Philadelphia Eagles wide receiver, Jacoby Jones, Houston Texans wide receiver, in studio tomorrow to talk about the DRC, Dominique Rogers-Cromartie celebrity basketball game coming up on Friday, which we will broadcast live from that event. All right, Bobby Petrino, phone records out.
84 text messages he sent to his mistress from his official Arkansas phone the night before they played Vanderbilt and were very fortunate to win a 31-28 game
Blocked the
here in
field
Nashville.
goal, right? And ran it back. That was a huge play. Vanderbilt had control of that game, if I remember correctly.
Already reports that included in these text messages are movies and video and pictures. Let me just ask you this. Do you think Bobby Petrino is taking a picture of the sunset and saying, baby, this reminds me of you?
Oh,
no, he said baby got back.
No. I really hope so. I really hope sunset pictures and puppy dogs.
He farved himself.
No.
Are you prepared for a world where Bobby Petrino nude photos surface on the internet?
If true, he's done, right? He can't recover from that.
No, he's just going to go to the NFL.
Whoa, who's going to take him in the NFL?
Oh, they don't care. Oh, they don't even care. Please.
The Vikings.
But he walked out. Was he paying her $20K not to send nude photos of himself on the internet?
I'm telling you, hush.
Hush fun? Hush money?
Yeah, man.
Oh, man. Yeah, follow.
84 text messages. 84, I just want to know, how many people out there have sent 84 text messages to one person in a day? What's the most text you've ever sent in a day? I've never sent 84 text messages in a day to like 100 people.
Maybe they're talking about characters. It is in 84 different text messages.
He is a character. Now, if there are multiple women, too, I mean, then those numbers are going astronomical.
Oh, that'd make this is a bombshell.
All right, follow, if you want more on this ridiculous story on Twitter, follow at NWA Robbie. He is going through, he's dissecting the phone records. Here's one tweet. Example of what we're dealing with. It just went through one day. October 17th, found 73 text messages exchanged between the two. Here's what Bobby Petrino was doing to get ready for the Alabama game. He called Darrell 4 straight days that week. 5:52 a.m. on a Tuesday.
A.m.?
Yes. 6:35 a.m. on a Wednesday. 5:49 a.m. on a Thursday. 7:55 a.m. on a Friday. He gets up. He's ready to roll.
Man, 5:50. He wasn't at home?
And then, as Clay suggested or said, exchanged 84 texts in about a 5-hour span on October 28th. I mean, the day before the road game at Vanderbilt, Arkansas won that game 31-20.
Sounds like puppy love.
84 text messages.
In 5 hours.
In 5 hours. That is, I'm in the Marriott Hotel, and I got time to kill, baby. The stupidity
There's
of this
some ridiculous
guy.
things going on at that Marriott.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, Erin Andrews had that.
I know, she's suing the place. The stupidity of using your university-issued cell phone to be texting, it is mind-boggling to me.
She had him wrapped around the finger.
Especially after the whole situation with Houston Nutt, where they subpoenaed the text message records and determined that he was texting that Little Rock news anchor or whoever it was.
I don't know if they came out with that.
Yeah, they don't know what.
Yeah.
Now the question becomes, they should be. This is an interesting question. You can see what the calls were made. Can you uncover what the text messages said?
Oh, probably.
Because you could uncover his email addresses.
Yeah, probably.
Like his emails would be publicly disclosed if he's using B. Petrino at university. I mean,
But you don't think you can retrieve text if someone sent text? You don't think they can retrieve it?
No, you can.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying, is it public? Because I haven't ever seen somebody's text. I'm trying to think where a public employee's text would have become public.
84 text messages in 5 hours is one text message every 3.5 minutes. For 5 hours.
And by the way, she might have been using a university-issued cell phone as well, which would mean that all of her text messages, theoretically, would also be uncoverable, for lack of a better term.
Got him.
I'm hoping for sunsets.
No.
Really hoping.
There is none of
There
that.
is a 100% chance that nudity was involved in this conversation. I'm hoping that it was nudity to Petrino as opposed to if Petrino farmed himself. The world has just come in and it's just gone in. We talked about this back in the farm day.
Especially after Favre farmed himself.
How would you be so
shouldn't Bobby
stupid?
Petrino have learned a lesson?
Nobody learns anything. There's probably an SEC football coach riding around right now with a chick on his motorcycle.
It was just shocking that it was a coach, though. Oh, man.
Nibble in the back of his neck.
Oh, man. James and Mount Juliet, what's going on, brother?
Man, y'all killing me. This Petrino mess. First of all, I got a couple of questions. First of all, the $20,000, was he paying her for it? Was he paying her to shut up? And, I said on the show earlier this morning, did this man honestly think that young girl was falling in love with him for his sexy body and his boyish good looks?
We'll find out when we see some of those pictures.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, another thing is, why would anybody starve yourself? I mean,
I don't understand. I understand why a man would want to look at a picture of a woman. I don't understand the desire to take a picture of yourself nude and send it to someone.
Who else did that? Odin?
And
if I was Greg Oden, I might send my picture naked to everybody. That might be my profile pic, but barring that.
What are you trying to say there?
It's easy to pick up women if you're Greg Oden.
Dixie next up on 3HL. Hey, Dixie, what's going on?
Dixie, are you going to be included? Dixie, have you been? I know you had boyfriends in Arkansas before. Are you on the email? Should you confess?
Oh, man, the only way this story gets more bizarre if I find out that bitch was screwing around my ex-fiance.
Oh, my, Dixie.
Let me tell you something. You think Petrino looks bad, you wait till I get a hold of him.
You were a big-time Bobby Petrino supporter, Dixie. What is your status with Bobby Petrino now? If you were a Facebook message, you guys aren't committed anymore, right?
Yeah. I've been thinking about everything you've been saying. I was a big supporter of his, and I'll tell you why I was. And I've defended him before, and I'll tell you why I did, because I'm one of these people, gossip is a national pastime. It's not football, it's gossip. And, I felt like he left Louisville for a better opportunity. I felt like he got to Atlanta, the situation that he got down there. For all we know, he was lied to about the situation he walked into down there. So, I was going to defend him. But like I said, as soon as I found out all this last week, I said on the morning show, I wanted his ass fired last Friday. So for once in my life, I got what I wanted.
What do you think about the stupidity of sending 84? I mean, we talked a lot about this Vanderbilt game and how prepared we thought Vandy was and how Arkansas honestly looked like they were sleepwalking. Doesn't it make complete sense that he spent 5 hours sending 84 text messages to a hot 25-year-old instead of getting ready for the game? Doesn't the game make more sense now?
No, I'll tell you what makes more sense to me in regards to that game. At that point, your players are prepared. They shouldn't have come out flat. What really happened to that game, it was the seventh game of the World Series the night before, and all them kids were up watching the World Series and celebrating because 85% of them are Cardinals fans. So I pretty much know what was going on the night
Maybe they were
before
just texting about the game then.
Yeah, they were all on Twitter and everything. I could see what all them kids was doing. I told some of them to get their ass in bed, but they don't listen to me. But this is about the $20,000. I figured she was just saying, you know, Bobby, I just really don't like this gown. I'm going to have to wear it to the wedding. I'd really like to get a Vera Wang gown. Well, honey, let me get you one. Or maybe she wanted a better honeymoon. I mean, I don't know, but I'm starting to think, I'm kind of agreeing with you, Clay, about this whole wreck. But number one, are you going to trust a man that's lied this much to talk about?
He hasn't told us a single thing that we can prove to be true yet. The sun wasn't even in his eyes. It wasn't windy. He got his ass beat by the fiance.
This is what I think happened, right? I don't think he was going 45 miles an hour. I think he was on his motorbike trying to get the hell out of Dodge because the fiance, he was coming with her to confront Bobby at his lake house. So Bobby jumps on his motorcycle. I think they come up on Bobby and scare him, and he runs off.
And wrecked himself.
I think he stopped the truck and kicked her ass out. That's why she wasn't hurt, because she wasn't even with him on the motorcycle. She run out and might have pulled his scabby little face off that pile of wood, but I don't think she was technically on the motorcycle. But the only people that know the truth is the two involved, and they're both, their characters all into question, so...
What if he ran him off the road?
That's what I think. Yeah, that's what I think. I think
he was in trouble with him.
I think Bobby just freaked out and thought the guy was running him off the road and ran straight into a wood pile.
Thank you, Dixie. The other thing Dixie said, Dixie was kind of blaming the 25-year-old Jessica Durrell, too. She said, you know, married men should be Casper the Friendly Ghost to single women. They shouldn't even see him.
Yeah, I think a lot of married women would say that. I mean, I think if I was a married woman, I would say...
Wait, older.
No. Yeah, clearly there are a lot of women out there.
Your married woman voice?
If I was a married woman... a lot of married women, a lot of unmarried women don't feel like there's much of a stigma attached with being involved with a married man. I think that's fair to say, because you see a lot of single women that are the other, quote-unquote, other women with married men.
Bobby Petrino in a mess of trouble, obviously, and he lost his job. Will he surface again? Probably, but we got to wait and see what some of these pictures are.
The more and more stuff comes out.
I'm surprised.
I wonder if he's moved already.
I don't know. I mean, his brother lives here, obviously.
Like I said in one of my articles, he's got the neck brace on right now. He's not seeing her coming from behind. That 5-iron. How nervous would you be if you're sitting in the chair and you hear, like, the door open behind you and you're Bobby Petrino now? You can't turn in the neck brace. No, not quickly. Again, next thing you know, you honestly got a lazy boy chair and 5-iron to the head.
I don't even care about the affair thing. What got him fired was everything else.
But it is mind-boggling.
Hey, that's his business, the affair thing.
Yeah, ain't got nothing to do with coaching yet. But he exposed the university now. You know, typically in the SEC as much, he is the face of the university. They can say what you want to say, but the football coach is the face of the university.
$3.6 million he makes, and he can't buy his own cell phone to text from. Especially like
not smart enough to carry two.
Because
it cost him $18 million.
It cost him not having his own cell phone.
But and future career in the NCAA. He may not be able to come back to a big time program. He may have to go step down.
How do you not have your own cell phone? He makes $3.6 million a year. What's the most expensive cell phone plan that you could possibly have? $250 a month? $3,000. He could have the greatest phone in the history of mankind. This phone could like launch nuclear weapons for $3,000 a year. $3,000 a year. That's a rounding error when you make $3.6 million. Or he could be so incredibly stupid that at the same school where they already Freedom of Information requested Houston Nutt's history to get him fired, that he knows he's got a crazy fan base. The only reason they hadn't checked his cell phone records was because he was winning.
We're all crazy fan bases in the SEC. We're going to get to the bottom of it.
Just have your own phone.
Now that he's fired, it's going to all come out. Maybe another mistress out there.
That's what I'm saying. This tweet from Jason Gay with the Wall Street Journal today. To think the whole of Arkansas football could have been saved by a sidecar. I mean, think about that. If that's really what happened. Now, I like your theory. I mean, you came with that today, and
I don't know. I think he may be run off the road.
I don't believe. Here's my point.
It makes sense.
I don't believe that she was on the motorcycle with him. I don't understand how, unless she is unbreakable female star, how Bobby Petrino can break his neck and look like he just got run through a meat grinder, face first.
He does. His face looks like Hamburger
Rough,
Hill.
yes. And broken ribs, and she's unhurt. I mean, if that's true, we need to hire her and send her over to represent the Navy SEALs and just start taking out dictators. I mean, she's like Salt. She's like the Angelina Jolie character from that movie. She just drops out of airplanes, It's like a real-life action hero.
Unless she wasn't involved.
Unless she wasn't there. And
she got some scrapes on her arms and stuff from tumbling.
But again, your conspiracy theory that
she wasn't a volleyball player, so she does know how to fall.
You outlined in hot pants.
And dive.
Yeah. Your conspiracy theory that you outlined in the 3:45-ish range on the show today was that the fiance, who no longer works at Arkansas.
Yes, the swim coach.
We don't know if he was fired or if he resigned. He just doesn't work there.
Well,
your theory is that he actually attacked Bobby Petrino.
Yeah. And attacked can be either like he, like physically beat him up or, and again, we started at 3:45 with this question. I've never been on a motorcycle in my life. My assumption is if me and somebody else were on a motorcycle driving around 40 miles an hour and we went off the road, that if I was really screwed up and injured, it would be really hard for my passenger to be fine and to be, according to the police, completely no scratches. She didn't go to the hospital. She drove herself home. Meanwhile, Bobby Petrino looks like he just survived a grenade assault. That seems to me to be unlikely. I'm no genius, but it seems to me to be unlikely that you could wreck a motorcycle and one of you is screwed up beyond almost all recognition and believes he broke his neck and has to immediately be sedated and put in a hospital and operated on, and the other of you is just perfectly fine.
Yeah, now, car might do that could happen, but not on a motorcycle.
Yeah, at the same time, he's not calling 911. He's calling his cop friend.
And the motorcycle's not injured. If the motorcycle can be injured. It's barely messed up. Yeah,
the motorcycle be injured.
I don't think they put the motorcycle in intensive care.
Oh, did they put it through the MRI?
Probably. He started covering up immediately. I think that there is
hurt.
While give him credit. Like I said, if Les Miles had been trying to cover this thing up, we'd have gone to war with Iran. He's definitely. Derek Dooley would have found a way to lose to Kentucky somehow while trying to cover up.
Derek Dooley would have called too many cops. There would have been 13 cops.
A lot of UT fans were saying, why couldn't we give Derek Dooley the keys to a motorcycle and a blonde? Get him out of that contract without having to pay him $11 million. Bob in the borough. Hey, Bob, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? How are you?
Good. Better than Petrino.
What's up?
Better than Petrino.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, I was calling. I actually happen to work. I happen to work for one of the top cell phone companies out there, to remain nameless. But one of the things that I can tell you, and I'm probably about to get a lot of people in trouble, you can only have text messaging records subpoenaed up to 72 hours after they're initially sent. The system itself can't hold that many text messages. So if it's not done within 72 hours, they're gone.
Let me ask you this, though. If a university issues cell phone, could they not have their own data retention policy in event that the NCAA subpoenas those records?
You're talking about the actual text messages.
Yeah, exactly. To actually read what was said, it has to be done within 72 hours. You can see the number and stuff like that for quite a while.
Well, what I'm asking is, could you have, let's say that you represent a company and they want to have a regular document retrieval. Like everybody has emails, right? Email never dies. Like that will always exist, right? Server keeps it. Could you not have, and I don't know the answer, but it seems to me likely that a lot of universities have specific data retention policies in the event of NCAA investigation so that they have their own record that they've set up with the cell phone company to be able to access, say, look, no, we didn't contact this recruit this many times. This is what we actually said. I mean, is that possible?
Yeah, I mean, that is possible to have, certain stipulations in your contract depending on what you decide. Because obviously, for instance, University of Tennessee with Verizon, they probably make millions of dollars or whatever it is, and have their own contract stipulation. But just the normal general public, it's 72 hours, no questions about it. Just it is what it is.
Even if it's saved on your phone, like what if you had cyber?
If it's saved on your phone, they can subpoena his phone, but they can't actually subpoena the actual record. So if he was, obviously he's kind of stupid to begin with, but if he was stupid enough to keep him on there, absolutely. They could subpoena his phone if it's owned by the university.
I mean, I don't delete text message conversations because I just want to be able to see I might have stuff that's on here from 6 months ago.
Sure, absolutely. Some phones, I will say this, so some phones actually will start to auto-delete after you get 500 messages in there, just for the own, memory of the phone itself.
And by the way, she could have saved everything because if she's really smart, that's her protection. Just like the blue dress with Monica Lewinsky, she could save every single text message that he's ever sent her, as well as videos and pictures.
We just tweeted it out. Deadspin has the phone records up online, so you want to peruse.
And again, if you're just tuning in, Bobby Petrino's cell phone records are now public. The day of a great game, one of the best games, the day before, one of the best games of last year's season, 31-28, last-second win, went down to the wire over Vanderbilt. Petrino sent 84 text messages during a 5-hour period to Jessica Durrell, the 25-year-old.
What time was the game over? Did he call her?
Did
he say, hey, we won a big one?
That was the night before the game.
Oh.
He's also. Let's go to game days.
Yeah, game day. I'm like after and before.
It's taking a while for this to pull up.
We've got 17 pages of phone records that we just tweeted out, so you can actually go in along and check and see how often he was texting or calling Mr. Durrell, including, by the way, a 22-minute phone conversation the day after the accident, trying to cover up, I'm sure, all of the details associated with what went down, potentially the beating that he took as opposed to actual motorcycle accident.
What about the cop calling him to tell him that the police report was about to go live?
The cop is so dirty.
The cop was covering himself now.
Yeah. The Arkansas State Police
give him
report.
a heads up that it's coming out.
And it was only upon getting the heads up that he finally told Long about it. He lied for 96 hours.
And then he told Jeff Long at 3:12 p.m. We were talking about it at 3:45. That's how fast news gets out.
To me, what that tells us is that he knew and was hoping that somebody was going to cover it up for him. Because I think back in old school SEC days, there were all sorts of cops who would cover for you for no matter what you did. DUIs, mistresses, as long as you win the game, coach. But I think the fact that some of these stories got out, the police officer's report is ridiculous because I wrote about it on Outkick, breaking it down. The whole thing is, it's like a circus. I mean, a most ridiculous circus you've ever seen. Helmed by an idiot.
I mean, here's Petrino by the numbers. The number that put the delay into the decision, 21-5. We talked a lot about that. Here's another number against the spread. Bobby Petrino at Arkansas, 60, 38-3. This from Christy Dosh with ESPN.com. Donations increased 359% from Houston Nuts last year to 2010. No other SEC school anywhere close in terms of growth. Football revenue rose 54% during Petrino's first 3 seasons. Auburn saw 30% growth during that period. They won a national championship as well. LSU, 13%. So he was rolling. They did not want to make this decision, but they had to.
And a $40 million building a year from being finished.
Oh, winning pays. I mean, there's no doubt at all about it. I mean, what he did has to be so far beyond the pale, and maybe including the pale, that there was just no way to keep him.
Cortez next up on 3HL. Hey, Cortez.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Great.
Excellent.
First of all, I've heard that with most of the smartphones, a lot of them go on IM. Now, those you can retrieve because it's like a computer. And second of all,
that's actually true. That's actually well said because that's the truth. A lot of you, like, if you have a BlackBerry, your BlackBerry messaging, that's like a GChat or an IM conversation, as opposed to that's a good point.
And second of all, when you get mine and Bobby ages, when you start talking to young girls that age, 2 things you got to have: either power or money. Because at that point, you're not being a player anymore. You're being a trick.
What do you think Cortez he gave her $20,000 for? My theory is boobs. I think he bought her boobs.
Oh,
I think he bought her boobs.
Or either for putting up with his man boobs, or I don't know.
He bought it. Wait, he bought himself boobs?
No, I think he bought her boobs. I mean, what would it?
For putting up with his, for her having to look at his.
What do dirty old men buy young women? Boobs.
Boobs?
Yeah.
Well, actually, you're buying that for yourself, too.
Yeah, right. He wanted to play with them.
Thank you for your perspective, Cortez. 737-1045. 866-492-ZONE. Will and Nashville.
You know it has to be a scandalous thing that he gave her money for. Because if it's...
Why couldn't it just be hush money and...
Well, that's what I'm saying. If they're going to talk about it... He said he didn't want to get into the details of what the money was for. To me, it's clear that it's not like business school tuition.
Wouldn't there be visual evidence if it were that? I mean, I don't know. Have you seen before and after her?
Maybe you're tastefully done.
I mean, there are pictures that have come out of her on Arkansas events. With
he didn't say when he gave them the $20,000 to her. Maybe he just gave it to her recently. We don't know.
Maybe it was a wedding gift.
Yeah.
Maybe it was to pay wedding expenses that were ruined.
This is what I also
said. The fiancé found out.
There is not a worse. It would be awful to find out that your fiance was cheating on you with an SEC football coach and to find out publicly and be ridiculed?
Or a 51-year-old SEC football coach.
Who do you think is more embarrassed?
Who you work
Her
with?
fiance or his wife, Petrino's wife?
I think that Petrino's wife, because at least if you're the fiance, you can just be like, that was just a crazy bitch. I had no idea. You can be like, I'm glad I didn't marry her. That's seriously. I mean, that's what I would say. I'd be like, man, on some level, here's what I would be pissed off about. Bobby Petrino is not charismatic. He's not good looking. He's not like fun to be around. He is the worst of the SEC coaches for your fiance to be cheating on you with. Think about this now. If you ranked 1 to 14, I think a lot of people were upset when they found out that their wife slept with Bill Clinton or their fiance, but they're like, he's a pretty charming guy. Like, you get him one-on-one, and he's powerful and well-liked in Arkansas. Bobby Petrino, nobody likes him. He isn't funny. He isn't fun to be around. This is like an office space.
He's not good looking. He's not charismatic.
He's maybe the ugliest coach in the SEC. If you're, seriously, at the 14, if you're really breaking it down, this is like an office space where the guy finds out that the Jennifer Aniston character was having sex with his boss, he thought, and he can't stop picturing it. I don't know that there's a worse coach for the fiance to find out that his fiance was cheating with.
I wonder how recent this picture is. It don't look like she got a boob.
You're doing some investigation over there? Will in Nashville
maybe it was
next
just a scheduled boob job and hadn't been done yet.
Hey, Will, what's going on?
Let me get this straight. He crashed the motorcycle. He was not wearing a helmet, right?
That's the story.
Okay, guys, I raced motorcycles as a kid and crashed multiple times as a kid. You don't crash a motorcycle at 40 miles an hour and not wear a helmet and walk away from that. I mean, he would be in a coma. I mean, that's just
and
all
she would be hurt. That's the point, too, right?
At least
he is injured. It seems improbable to you that a girl or guy who's also a passenger would emerge completely unscathed from a motorcycle accident.
I think the boyfriend beat the hell out of him. That's what I think.
I think that's true. I think that there's no doubt. Or he chased him in a car and somehow, he panicked and, I think he got beaten up. There's more. There's much more to this story. Bobby Petrino had, again, if you missed the early part of the story, Deadspin actually went back and looked. Bobby Petrino blamed the sun in his eyes. They actually went to the street at the time of day, and the sun is not in any way possibly in his eyes. He blamed a gust of wind. There is no way that the gust of wind could actually have occurred because they went to look at the wind gust readings for that region, and there was no wind.
Man, he should have said, he didn't have the story right. He should have said a fly flew into my eye.
No, some of those.
And I tried to get it, and he made me swerve.
Some of those guys.
Then you can't go back and test that.
Some of those guys think they can talk their way out of anything.
They think they're smarter than they really are.
Which is dangerous. That's the most dangerous kind of person.
Well, and here's the other thing. Is he so stupid? Look, think about this.
He is.
I think that's
maybe he is
obvious.
just a complete idiot. But this really flies in the face. This flies in the face of football coaches as geniuses, right?
Man, this bad.
I mean,
his buddies are calling the SEC buddies. Hey, man, you made us look real bad.
Like I said,
man, what the heck you got going on?
I'm not saying that Bobby Petrino needs to be an expert in all things. Genius, I'm sure that Michelangelo might not have been very good at landscaping or something. Geniuses don't have to be great at everything. But I would think that if he was alive in the time of let's say a lawnmower, he would know how it worked. I don't think that Albert Einstein would be unable to change a light bulb.
He'd be sitting at a stoplight, just sitting there trying to figure out what to do.
I think that Bobby Petrino is actually not very smart, which makes me question how smart most college football coaches are. If he's a genius, if he is so much smarter than all the rest of college football coaches, how is he so dumb in every other walk of life?
I mean, there's a lot of people out there like that now.
That are just geniuses in one thing?
Yeah.
I just find that hard to believe. Mm-hmm. Do you think, Ansel Adams was a great photographer, right?
There's a lot of people out there. Well, let me rephrase that. There's a lot of people out there good at one thing and not very good at some things that you would assume that they would have knowledge of. I mean, Brett Favre is not dumb, but why would he fire somebody a text? Well, you would think he's smarter than that. Now, I don't care. He don't have to be as real smart. He's a quarterback, so he's pretty decent smart now.
I don't understand how you could do it after Favre.
That's right. That's what
all
I'm
of this
saying.
stuff happened in the months immediately after Favre from your university-issued cell phone.
Your predecessor got in trouble because of the Freedom of Information Act and cell phone records.
Oh, well, he was in Atlanta during that time.
But it was your predecessor.
He don't know.
Why do you have the job?
You don't know.
Again, he makes
I'm bigger than
he makes $3.6 million. Why did he not buy his own phone?
See, that goes into your theory. You think all people make a lot of money? It's smart. Told you not.
You know what he needs to do probably is refinance. He probably needs to save money every month.
Well, you know what he needs to do is probably buy a house because his wife's going to kick his ass right out. And lucky for him, 30-year rates are really low. So at least he can save money there. Maybe he can buy his own new cell phone. 833-0456 is the number. Never really thought about it before, but if your wife's about to divorce you for having a relationship with a woman who's only 25, you better go ahead and lock in a new interest rate now because you don't want to be living in a bad apartment. Women aren't impressed by that. You want a house at least. If you have to lose your own house, go ahead and buy a new one. Lucky for you, 30-year rates are under 4%, and you can go ahead and take care of yourself and maybe find somebody else to help take care of you too, like Bobby Petrino did. 376-6010. You don't have to be a multimillionaire. No matter who you are, you can afford a place because rates are so low. If you got a job, they can find you a house. And if you can find a house, you can find a great rate. But you can't find anybody better to work with than my guys at Accurate Mortgage. AccurateMTG.com is the website. Rates under 4%. Unbelievably, they've dropped again this week. Maybe because real estate agents are all excited about Bobby Petrino's multiple houses he's going to have to buy. 376-6010 is the phone number. 376-6010. Instead of sitting around and texting your girlfriend about all sorts of things that aren't that important right before a game, why don't you go ahead and lock in an interest rate? It's just as quick, much more, it's much better for your long-range life. And, man, let's be honest. You never know when you're going to lose the home if you're Bobby Petrino. At least now he can lock in an unbelievable rate. Again, rates under 4%. You're an idiot. Take care of your family while you can. Lock in a rate that makes sense. 376-6010. I just came back from vacation. You can save a lot of money and pay for your vacation by locking in this interest rate right now. 376-6010 is that number. Again, 376-6010. Don't get Petrino'd. Get the best possible rate you can. 376-6010. AccurateMTG.com.
Anita, next up on 3HL. Anita, what's going on?
Hey, how you guys doing? Okay, I usually agree with everything Clay says.
Everything,
okay.
Anita?
Okay, no, I'm sorry. I usually agree with most things he says, but I gotta call him out on something he said earlier. He said that he thought Petrino is the SEC coach that you would least like your fiance to fool around with. And I say it has to be Steve Spurrier.
Steve Spurrier.
But Spurrier's won a championship. And he's charismatic.
And he would be wearing a visor at all times.
No,
just a visor.
You said look at
and socks, probably.
On his look and his personality, it's got to be Spurrier.
All right, so
you sound like a Gator hater.
By the way, everybody, I can't stop. Anita, what do you think about Steve Spurrier if he sent you a picture, just visor, just socks?
I'm going to go have to drink something now to get that thought out of my mind. Oh, thank you. Bye.
Yeah, Spurrier, when I said that earlier, people were like, I think Spurrier's 14. I disagree because Spurrier, if you're around him, is actually a likable guy. Like, tell the Bobby Petrino story for you. Like when you were in the elevator with him.
I don't remember exactly what he said, but
you asked if you could interview him.
Yeah. Like 5 minutes.
Usually people are pretty receptive. They might say no.
But they might say, I'm headed
busy.
Up to my
they can at least lie
or,
well.
I'm going out to dinner, or I've got to call my mistress. Or,
right. Now we know why he was so busy.
Yeah. But he was not just no, he was hell no, basically.
No.
I mean, he's just not, anybody you talk to.
Nobody likes him. He's not a likable guy. Very good offensive coach. And I guess offensive now is a double entendre there. It can stand for a lot of different things. You know what's going to happen here? Derek Dooley is going to go 5-7. And Blaine already texted me about this. People blowing up my Twitter feed already. Tennessee should hire him. That's what's going to happen. Tennessee fans are just going to go off the deep end, and they're just going to be like, you know what?
We're getting messages from Tennessee fans hoping to get Bobby Petrino. Now, again, there are picks involved in this phone record.
And videos.
Right? So, yeah. And so you don't know what else is coming.
I'm praying.
I don't know if they're going to do it.
No, they're not going to do it.
If it comes to that, they better not do that.
Wendy's, you know when it's real. I forgot.
Yeah, speaking of that, these are the glasses he had on while he was riding his motorcycle.
Those are your
Top gun
Punch
glasses.
and John glasses.
Yeah, that's the mirror glasses right there.
No, those are the cops who helped cover it up for him initially. That's what they wore.
Oh.
Arkansas State Police. Always reliable. By the way, they have a guy at the Arkansas State Police.
Look at it. He's going. He can't stop.
We need to
He's
talk
been
about
off
this.
for a week. It's like,
I got
you
a
got
lot
to catch
of built up.
up. Somebody
I gotta talk
pulled
for a
his
week.
string over there.
The guy's the lieutenant colonel for Arkansas State Police. His last name, and I'm not making this up, first name is Tim, last name is K''Knuckles.
No.
His real name, K''Knuckles. Lieutenant Colonel K''Knuckles. That's real.
Oh, I want to see the picture.
Spectacular.
I think he changed it.